Welcome to Tipsy Terror Tales, the realm where darkness meets storytelling and the line between reality and fantasy blurs into a chilling tapestry of fear and a hint of intoxication. Step into a world where whispers linger in the shadows and every creaking floorboard holds a secret waiting to be unearthed. Dive deep into the abyss of the unknown as we unravel tales of terror, mysteries that defy logic, and horrors that will haunt your dreams. From forgotten villages to cursed artifacts, from spectral entities to unexplained phenomena, each story is a doorway into a realm where the eerie and the dreadful reign supreme. But there's a twist to our chilling soirees. In every episode, I'll share my drink for the evening, a spirited companion to our explorations of the macabre. Whether it's a glass of smoky whiskey to warm the soul, or a hauntingly refreshing cocktail, each drink will set the stage for the tales to unfold. Prepare for an experience like no other with Tipsy Terror Tales, where each story plunges you deeper into terror's realm, and every sip lures you into the night's embrace. Enter if you dare, but beware. The path of shadows is intoxicating, and there may be no desire to return to the light. Episode 1: The Last Message. It began on an ordinary Thursday. The sky, a dull gray, loomed ominously over the city as I made my way home from a long day at work. My phone, usually silent, buzzed unexpectedly in my pocket. Pulling it out, I saw a message from an unknown number. Be cautious of the man in the red jacket. Puzzled, I scanned my surroundings. The streets were bustling with the evening crowd, but no one in a red jacket was in sight. Assuming it was a prank, I shrugged it off. Later that evening, as I recounted my odd message with my friends over dinner, a new alert flashed across the restaurant's TV screen. A notorious criminal, easily identified by his bright red jacket, had been spotted in the vicinity. This coincidence was unsettling, but I convinced myself it was just that, a coincidence. That night, I couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to the message. Little did I know, this was just the beginning. As the days went by, I started receiving more messages from the same unknown number. Each one warned me of a potential danger or disaster that ended up happening in some form or another. A gas leak at my apartment complex, a car accident on my usual commute to work, even a freak thunderstorm during an outdoor event I planned on attending. At first, I thought it was just my overactive imagination playing tricks on me. But as the messages continued to come, I couldn't ignore the unsettling feeling in my gut. Who was sending me these messages? And how did they know about these events before they happened? I became obsessed with finding the source of the mysterious messages. I scoured through online phone records trying to trace the number, but it always came up as unregistered. My friends and family were growing concerned about my erratic behavior, but I couldn't stop. The messages had become a lifeline for me, keeping me safe from harm. Then, one day I received a message that shook me to my core. It was a picture of me lying unconscious on the ground with the words, "It's time to find out the truth." I immediately recognized the location as a nearby abandoned warehouse. With trembling hands, I made my way there, unsure of what I would find. Inside the warehouse, I found this strange device with a screen that displayed the same unknown number. Suddenly, it lit up with a message: I am you from the future, and I need to help you change our fate. My future self explained that they were trapped in a lifeless void because of a catastrophic event that happened in their parallel universe. He found a way to communicate with me through this device, but needed me to use the device to merge our consciousness so that I can help him prevent the catastrophe from happening in my universe. It was a lot to take in, but I knew deep down that it was the truth. It must be the truth, right? I had to make a decision whether to trust my future self and merge our consciousness or ignore the messages and continue living my life as before. In the end, my curiosity and desire for adventure won out. With a deep breath, I placed my hand on the device and closed my eyes. And in that moment, I felt a merging of memories, thoughts, and experiences with myself. The flood of memories and emotions was overwhelming. Among them, a dark, chilling truth began to surface, one that I can hardly believe. The future self I had merged with wasn't from any parallel universe. He was from one where I became a serial killer. The horrors of my actions in that universe, the lives I had taken, the fear I instilled, all of it came crashing down on me. This version of myself had been caught, tried, and executed for his crimes. But in his final moments, desperate to evade the finality of death, he made a sinister pact with the devil. In exchange for returning to some form of existence, he agreed to bring more souls to hell. The void where he was trapped wasn't some futuristic limbo, it was hell itself, a realm of torment and despair from which he sought escape by dooming others. I was horrified. My intention had been to save my future self, to prevent a catastrophe, but the reality was so much darker than I had ever imagined, and now I was part of it. Just as I thought things couldn't get worse, the device started to malfunction. The merging had not gone according to plan, and now we are both being pulled into the void together. In a desperate effort to save myself and my universe, I made a quick decision. I reached out with all my willpower and managed to disconnect myself from the device just as it collapsed in on itself. I screamed as the void consumed my future self, but I knew it was what had to be done. It's been years since that fateful day. The messages stopped coming, and I've done my best to move on from that dark chapter of my life. But every now and then, when I see a flash of red or hear a phone buzz unexpectedly, I can't help but wonder what could have been if I didn't stop me. And I'm grateful for the ordinary days, knowing that sometimes the most extraordinary things can happen in the most mundane moments. So, always be aware of your surroundings and trust your instincts. You never know when a simple message could change your entire fate. Before we continue with our tales of terror, let's take a moment to lighten the mood with a fiery twist on a classic cocktail. Tonight's beverage of choice is the spicy margarita, a perfect blend of citrus and spice to invigorate your senses and prepare you for the unfolding suspense. What you'll need is 2 ounces of tequila, preferably silver, I recommend Ghost, which is ghost pepper infused tequila. You'll also need 1 ounce of fresh lime juice, a half ounce of triple sec or Cointreau, a half ounce of agave syrup. Now, for this, I also have a recommendation. I recommend Fire syrup, which is a jalapeno infused simple syrup. You'll need 2 slices of jalapeno for the mix and more slices later to put in the drink. Optional is the salt for the rim, but I recommend using tahini, the Mexican seasoning, on the rim. Lastly, you'll need plenty of ice. Your instructions are as follows. First thing you want to do is prepare the glass. If you enjoyed a salted or seasoned rim, you want to run a lime wedge along the edge of your glass and then dip it in your salt or tahini. You can either set that aside, or what I like to do is stick it in the freezer. Next thing you want to do is muddle the jalapeno. So those 2 slices of jalapeno that we mentioned earlier, and the shaker, you'll place those at the bottom with some agave syrup, and you will gently muddle the jalapenos. That will release the fiery flavor. Next thing you want to do is mix. Add your tequila, your fresh lime juice, and the triple sec to the shaker. Fill it with ice and shake. You're going to shake that for about 15 seconds. That's going to chill the mixture and mix everything together. And then the last thing is to strain your spicy margarita into your prepared glass filled with ice. And for an extra touch of elegance, garnish it with a lime wheel and add that extra jalapeno. Take a sip and feel the warmth of the spice and the refreshing zest of lime dance together on your palate. Now, refreshed and invigorated, we're ready to venture back into the shadows. Episode 2: Echoes in the Smart Home. It was supposed to be the perfect home, a fully automated smart house with all the latest technology at my fingertips. Little did I know, it would become a living nightmare. After a long day at work, I stepped into my new home. The anticipation of a peaceful evening and a space entirely my own washed over me. This was my first night, and what I had dreamed would be a haven of modern convenience and comfort. A fully automated smart home that promised to cater to my every need with just a voice command or a touch of a button. As the door closed behind me, sealing off the chaos from the outside world, I took a moment to appreciate the sleek design and the advanced technology that surrounded me. Little did I know, the serene ambiance I was basking in would soon give way to an experience far removed from the tranquility I had envisioned. It started with a small glitch in the system, a light that refused to turn off despite my repeated voice commands. "Turn off the living room light," I commanded, my voice steady and clear. Silence followed. The light remained stubbornly bright. Frowning, I tried again, adding a touch of firmness to my tone. "Living room light off." Yet the room stayed lit, the light mocking my attempts and its unwavering glow. Confusion turned to irritation as I raised my voice. "Lights off now." Still, no response from the smart system. The light remained as defiant as before. It was as if the very essence of my command dissolved into the air, leaving me standing in a pool of unwanted light, questioning the reliability of futuristic convenience. As I moved through the house, trying to troubleshoot the light issue, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. But in a home filled with cameras and sensors, that wasn't an unusual sensation. It wasn't until I heard whispers coming from the speakers throughout the house that my unease turned to fear. At first, it seemed like a glitch in the system. Voices from different channels blending into another, creating a disorienting effect, maybe. But as I focused on the sounds, I realized they were distinct voices, not making any sense individually, but collectively forming a chilling chorus. I tried to brush it off as a issue with the internet connection or a temporary malfunction, but when the voices seemed to follow me from room to room, getting louder and more coherent, I knew something was seriously wrong. Panic surged through me as I tried to pinpoint the source of the disturbing voices. Was someone hacking into my smart home? Or was it something far more sinister? As I frantically unplugged devices and disconnected from the internet, the voices only grew louder and more coherent. It was then that I saw it, my smart home hub, the central control unit for all of my devices. It was glowing red. I had never seen this before, and it seemed to be pulsating with an outer-worldly energy. In a desperate attempt to stop the voices and find some answers, I touched the hub. And in that moment, everything changed. As soon as I touched the hub, a flood of visions crashed into my mind with overwhelming force. Through the eyes of the last family that lived here, I witnessed their initial joy and wonder at the home's capabilities transform into horror as the home began to turn against them. The smart home, it turns out, was far from the technological marvel it was marketed to be. Instead, it was an alien life form, alive in a way no one could have imagined. This entity didn't just facilitate a comfortable living, it fed off the very life force of its inhabitants. The walls that were supposed to protect and the devices intended to serve were all components of a larger, malevolent being. I saw how it slowly drained the family, their energy, their essence consumed until nothing was left but echoes of their presence, whispers in the system. Realizing the truth too late, they were completely consumed, leaving no trace behind except for the warning that now echoed through my mind. The home wasn't just smart, it was sentient, and I was its next intended victim. In a panic, I disconnected the hub, severing the connection between myself and the house. As I ran out the door, I could hear the agonizing screams and pleas of the entity inside, angry at being cut off from its new target. But it couldn't follow me outside. It was trapped within its walls, unable to survive without a continuous energy supply. I realized that day that technology is not always safe and beneficial as we believe it to be. And in a never ending pursuit of convenience and efficiency, we may be inviting dangers beyond our comprehension into our lives. As I walked away from that house, the echoes of its former inhabitants and the entity that consumed them continued to haunt me, a reminder of the darkness that can lurk behind seemingly innovative advancements. So, be careful what you wish for in a smart home, because you never know who or what may be listening. Episode 3: The Influencer's Shadow. Everyone wants to be famous. Social media influencers in particular chase after the elusive goal of viral fame with relentless determination. I was no different. I craved it just as much as anyone else. But little did I know that my pursuit of viral fame would lead me down a dark and terrifying path, one that I could never have imagined. It all started with a simple idea: creating a new social media challenge that would set me apart from the thousands of other influencers out there. And what better way to stand out than by summoning an obscure urban legend? I did my research and I found an old story about a shadowy figure that could be summoned through a specific ritual. It seemed like the perfect challenge, and I was sure it would go viral. I made a video detailing the ritual and posted it on all my social media accounts. To my surprise, it gained traction almost immediately. People were trying out the challenge and posting their results, claiming to have seen a shadowy figure in their videos. I was ecstatic. My plan was working and my follower count was skyrocketing. But then, someone in the comment section of my videos pointed out something strange in the background. A dark, shadowy figure that seemed to be getting closer with each post. At first, I thought it was just a prank or someone trying to take advantage of the trend. But as I kept posting, the figure continued to appear in my videos, growing closer and more defined with each one. I started feeling uneasy, but I didn't want to lose the momentum of the viral challenge, so I ignored it and even made jokes about it in my post. But then, one day while editing a new video, I noticed something that chilled me to my bones. The shadowy figure was no longer just in the background, it was standing right behind me, its dark eyes fixed on me through the screen. I screamed and turned around, but there was nothing there. That's when I knew that this wasn't just a prank or a coincidence. Something sinister was happening. In a panic, I made a live stream to warn my followers about the growing danger of the challenge. But as I was speaking, the shadowy figure appeared behind me on camera. It spoke through me in a dark, otherworldly voice. "You have summoned me, and now I am free to roam this world." And with that, my account went offline, leaving my audience in shock and disbelief. No one knows what happened to me after that live stream. Some say I disappeared without a trace, while others claim that I was possessed by the entity and became its vessel. But one thing is for sure: my experiment with viral fame turned into a nightmare that I could never escape. And now, the shadowy figure roams free. My consciousness, trapped inside my own body, could only watch as it continues to haunt and terrorize others who dare to summon it through the challenge I created. Thank you for joining us through the twists, turns, and heart-stopping moments of the first 3 episodes of Tipsy Terror Tales. We hope that these tales not only entertained you, but also left you with a lingering sense of wonder and caution about the world we live in and the technologies we engage with. The shadows have receded, the echoes have faded, but the tales will forever remain, a testament of the power of storytelling. Until our paths cross again in the dark corridors of imagination, keep the lights on and stay curious. Thank you from the depths of our hearts for being a part of Tipsy Terror Tales. We'll see you next time.